Hello. I'm Chrisette Michelle, and I am so excited about this segment, this very last segment from Rich Hipster University on the subject money, you, and social media. Today, we're going to get really touchy. This particular subject is one that I kind of contemplated. Should I save it for the mentorship program or should I give it away during the free series? And I decided, you know what, this is something that I really had a hard time with. I really struggled through in my years of becoming an entrepreneur and owning different types of businesses. So I decided, you know what, because I know so many people go through this, I'm just going to share it. Price. Now, in the beginning of the series, we really got into understanding your value, right? Understanding your worth and being okay with attaching a price to your skill, to your services, to your value, to your quality. Today, we're going to talk about how to create that number, that literal actual number. And before we get into that, I'm going to say that I want to teach you how to use social media to bring income to the things that you create, but social media can only do so much for the price that you decide you're worth. So while you can get yourself out there with social media, you can garner a following organically and authentically, the number that you associate with your worth or your value, the number that you put your price as, depends on who it is that you're speaking to. And so that's kind of what you have to deal with when you're thinking about how to create your price. First of all, let me say that part of being an entrepreneur is creating a price. Anyone can say that they're creative. Anyone can say that they have skill. Anyone can say they have a gift, a talent, etc. But when you put that price to that skill, to that gift, to that talent, to that offering, now you are in the realm of entrepreneurship. Now you are deciding that no longer will I give this away to people for free. Now I'm an entrepreneur. And that's very scary for a lot of people, understandably so. Before, your cousins could come over and you could braid all of their hair on a Saturday night while you all watch Legally Blonde and Love and Basketball. Now when your cousins come over and you say, that'll be $10, it's a little bit scary. So how do you make that switch from going for free to now you've got to pay? And how do you decide what that number is? Let's get into it. So let's first start off with the fact that you can decide who to attract by putting a price on something. So a lot of times brands will say, well, if we charge this much, then this demographic will come. And if we charge this much, then this demographic won't come. And they decide, to move things up a notch or down a notch in price based on who they want to see walk through their doors. A lot of times brands do that on purpose. They know that certain people will not come into their doors because of the price. So that is one way to set a bar, if you will, for who does and doesn't receive your offering. Let's start off with this fact. Quality changes with price. So when you're thinking about making your price high or low, oftentimes you have to decide what part of your value are you willing to sacrifice for a particular price. So for instance, if I create a song and the song has violins in it, but people only want to pay, let's say, $1.99 for a song, then I may have to use fake violins or not hire an orchestra because the song that I want to create, people are not going to pay $6.99 for. It's not that they don't like music. It's not that they don't like me. It's that they don't value what I value as a musician. So while I want to give people these amazing violins, I'm going to have to sacrifice quality in order to be able to bring my music to a particular price point, right? That is sacrificing a little bit of yourself so that you can have a particular price point. Now, if you absolutely will not budge and you must have live violins, then you're going to have to make your price point $6.99, and that's the only way that you'll be able to bring your violins in. What does that mean? That means that later on in your marketing, you're going to have to talk about the fact that you have live violins, and you can only pinpoint people who care deeply about live violins. If you are pinpointing people who do not care about live violins, guess what? You're not going to sell any of your music. So when I created an album that had a live orchestra in it, I had to charge a certain amount of money for that particular album. I could only put a certain amount of songs on that album because of the amount of money it cost to create music with live violins. Later on, when it was time for me to market, I told people this has live violins, but I was also able to keep it at a low price point because of the amount of songs on the album. So sometimes you have to, pick and choose your battles and decide, okay, I'm going to put a little bit more here, a little bit less there, so that I can have my offering sold at a particular price point. So quality is the beginning of deciding how to decide on price. Are you okay with leaving a little bit of yourself behind? So am I okay with not necessarily having live drums in all of my music? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't mind clicking a couple of buttons. So now I'm okay with relinquishing some of that quality, and I can also now bring my price down. Now the people who purchase the music are happy because not only can they get the music, but they can get it at a price they can afford. The issue oftentimes is not that people don't want to hang out with you, that they don't want your product, that they don't want your creative offering. It's that you're very rigid in deciding on your quality and what you will and won't sacrifice. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough time to form a relationship with our audience, and we expect them to give us zillions of dollars up front when really we've got to show them that what they're going to get is so awesome. The next time around, I might charge you 25 more cents, but I got a couple of violins in here now. You understand? So quality and price go hand in hand, and you've got to decide where you want to sacrifice. Do you want to up your price or lower your quality? The second way to decide on price. So as we get into the mentorship program, we're really going to talk more about demographic and target audience. But here I'll give you quickly that your demographic is a particular group of people that look, feel, sound, act, live in a certain place, all different types of age, man, woman, boy, girl, all these different things go into what your demographic is. They're the group of people that you're targeting, right? Some demographics may have more money than other demographics. For instance, if you're talking to a kid in high school who's only 14 years old about something that you're selling versus if you're talking to a single female who is a lawyer and lives by herself in Atlanta, you're talking to two different price points. So these two different price points are two different demographics, two different types of folks, and you have to be willing to look at the person that you're selling to when you're making your price. If the person you're selling to cannot afford what it is that you have, then you got to do one of two things: either sacrifice your quality or change your price, right? So you got to take a couple of things out of your offering, right? Remove something so that you can sell to the high school kid, or you've got to change your target and say, you know what, no longer am I selling to the high school kid, but I'm going to sell to lawyers in Atlanta. Now I'm being a little bit, dramatic with the two different types of people, but you kind of get the picture that whoever your demographic is makes a big impact in what your price may or may not be able to be. Doesn't mean that people don't like you. Doesn't mean that people don't want to share with you and experience your offering. It just means that everybody is sent to a different target audience. And you got to be okay with that as an entrepreneur. One of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur is understanding that you don't get to talk to everybody at the same time. There's going to be different parts of you that you give to different people based on what they can afford. In the first segment of this series, we talked about value and being okay with the fact that you have value, that you are worth something, that you're special, you're important, and you deserve to be given money for what it is that you offer to people. Now, as you walk through your entrepreneurial experience, you're going to find that there are people who may or may not be able to afford what it is that you have to give. Does that mean that they'll never get to have it? No. It might mean that you have to work your way up to having a certain amount of money so that you can give a group of people things for free. You might have to work yourself up to the point where you can say, and now I offer a second product and it costs this much and it costs less, and then you have a luxury product and a price point that everyone or more people can afford. So Price is one of those things that can be very touchy, but if we are patient with ourselves, if we give ourselves time to grow, and we're okay with the fact that sometimes we have to take a little bit of our quality away in order to be able to offer something to a particular group of people, we'll be okay with the fact that some of our offerings are going to cost $10, some of our offerings are going to cost $100, and some of our offerings are going to cost $200. So if you're transitioning out of the workplace and going into entrepreneurship from your 9 to 5, if you're excited about starting a new career as an entrepreneur but you don't know where to start, if you're petrified about online social media marketing and promotion, Rich Hipster University is the place for you. I'm going to give you the tools that I've used to build my career and to build my different businesses and market them, and you guys are going to walk away feeling confident and very sure about who you are, what your worth is, your purpose, your value, and how to market it and get it out there for the world to see. So if you haven't already, go to www.richhipsteruniversity.com and enroll in Rich Hipster University's mentorship program today. I cannot wait to hang out with you. Classes start on July 10th.